Hey everyone, welcome back to the Door 59 channel. Here we look at a mix of new releases and figures that have been around for a bit. And so whether you're new to the hobby or you've been collecting for years, the goal here is simple. We take an honest look at different figures and figure out which ones are worth owning or not. And today's episode is going to be a little bit of a special one, especially with the Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Symbiote Suit Spider-Man coming out. They announced, or pre-orders went up for the purple version. I'm definitely curious who's picking those up. I already had the black version on pre-order, and the purple version kind of has my eye here. I'm wondering about even canceling the black version and switching that over. But both of those figures are set to arrive in August of this year. So today, what we're going to be doing is looking at the original Amazing Yamaguchi version 1 Spider-Man on your left and the version 2.0 on your right. And we have a few categories here, and we're gonna have a little battle off. So we'll start here with the boxes that they came in. So I mentioned in my last video actually that the original AY Amazing Yamaguchi boxes were so much better than the current ones, and I'll zoom out here for these. This is what the 1.0 figure came in. Doesn't get much better than the back there in the window on front. And then, so I lost the 2.0 box. I probably threw it out because it's nothing too memorable. But I'll just show you the Batman Beyond box. Again, just what a difference going from this to this. Maybe the right side works for some people. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm not going to count that in terms of the categories that we're going to be going over today. So I have 8 categories. So I'm just going to dive into it here. Starting with the sculpt of the figures, I came into this thinking like obviously the 2.0 is going to win. It's like the newer version, only more perfected than the first one. And things actually got a little bit closer than I thought, but we'll just go into it here. So number one with the sculpt. So I'll show you the 1.0 here. He's generally just a bit glossy throughout. He does have detailed paint lines in there, like that is sculpted line work going throughout the web lines. But then when you bring in the 2.0, the texture on the blue suit, you can see that there. That just looks really good in hand in photos. So round 1 there, we'll have to go to Spider-Man 2.0. Round 2, we get to the paint and the finish. So started with figure 1.0. You can see we have pretty clean line work. There's kind of areas where there's a little bit of blotchiness going on. Let me see if I can focus this a little better for you. You kind of see some black spots on his chest there. I do remember, obviously, this figure's about, 4 or 5 years old at this point. But I do remember when I received it coming that way. There's not a ton of paint on the back to look at. But overall, the paint lines look pretty crisp, sharp. Going to the 2.0, there's areas deep in the lines, especially where the black lines cross each other, and even in the black lines itself, where you could see that the black paint just either didn't stick or wasn't applied. It's kind of hard to show that here, but I'm kind of looking in these upper areas. I don't know if that's showing up on camera there. It is on my end. But so overall, I'll give, and then I'd say they both have the same finish. This one looks a little bit more matte, but I think it's just the texture of the suit. Round 2, we'll go to Spider-Man 1.0. Round 3, we look at articulation and range of motion. So I'm looking at the shoulders, the ab crunch, the hip and knee joints. Can they hit the classic Spider-Man pose? So starting with the shoulders, that's going to be a clear winner of Spider-Man 2.0. Spider-Man 1.0, pretty surprisingly, doesn't come with butterfly joints in the shoulder. He does get a ton of range of motion, and definitely pretty gappy. Again, they say for Amazing Yamaguchi, they're not meant to stand up still. You got to be posing them, but super gappy if you're looking at the shoulders there. This Spider-Man 2.0 comes with the butterfly joint you'd expect to see. It has some pretty good movement there. It also keeps with the Spider-Man logo really well in the back. You can't really see with this here. And then getting to the ab crunch. So they both have a joint in their ab to give them good flexibility, but the Spider-Man 1.0 on the left, I'll show you what the ab crunch looks like here. It's not limited. It just means you have to take them apart to get the movement you're looking for. So you can see here, it's on a ball and hinge joint. Is that coming out? It's on a ball and hinge joint. So if you're looking to get forward, backwards movement, you could do that. But if you're looking to get movement left to right, you're going to have to twist this. You're going to have to open them up, twist this left to right to get your movement there. While I'll fix them in a minute. While the Spider-Man 2.0, he's just on a ball joint in the middle, so he gets full range of motion without you having to take them apart. Forward, back, and the side to side, not a problem. And here's Spider-Man 1.0's ab joint. A lot of movement. But again, if see now I can't get him to go left and right. If I wanted to do that, I'd have to separate his torso, spin the joint, and then I'd be able to move him left and right. So that'll go to Spider-Man 2.0. But going down to the knees, this is actually in every joint. This was an upgrade from Kyoto on this. The 1.0 Spider-Man, I don't know when they made the change exactly, but these, while they have the same ball and hinge joints, the 1.0 has a click, which you could probably hear it. While the 2.0 is smooth, does not have a click. So that there's going to go to the 2.0 as well. And so overall, that category is going to go to Spider-Man 2.0. Round 4 is going to be talking about the overall engineering. Is the figure difficult to work with? Is it easy? Are the joints smooth? So when it comes to the clicking of the joints, I don't mind that, but it could be seen as a bit more limiting. With the click joints, it might be hard to achieve here, but for example, if you're rotating the knee all the way back, you'll get to a point where you want to bring his knee back, but it's not just enough to make it click. So it's not going to make it there. It's going to keep pushing back. And then that combined with the fact that you have to take his torso apart to get the waist movement left to right, that category for the engineering, it's going to go to Spider-Man 2.0. Category 5, the accessories. So on the left, we have 1.0, and on the right, we have the 2.0. So as you can see, most of the accessories are pretty much the same. I lost some pieces here, like the connector for the hands, and I did lose one hand. My dog actually ate it a few years back. And I'm also missing the case for the eyes. For the Spider-Man 2.0, these actually belong over here. But the eyes are pretty similar. You come with 3 pairs for the Spider-Man 2.0 as well. So that's pretty comparable to me. I don't think it's a big difference maker. Where the biggest differences are going to be is the color. As obviously you could see, the Spider-Man 1.0 comes with a classic white web, and then the one on the right, the 2.0 comes with a bit of a translucent light green, which you could see. And overall, I'm a bigger fan of the classic white kind of look to it. I don't know where they got the idea for the translucent green. I'm not sure if that was in a show, a comic, or what. These are also pieces that go under the shoulder for Spider-Man to fly for his wings, which I don't end up using too much. But honestly, the biggest accessory that makes the 1.0 better than the 2.0 is this soft plastic here. So you could attach this here, so you attach this piece into Spider-Man's hand and then this piece here onto anything you want, or you could just leave it loose, but it's flexible. So I tend to pose them with them holding it just like this, and it looks like a loose piece of web. It looks really good. And not to mention, you also get two smaller shooting web pieces that you don't get with the 2.0. So for accessories, I feel like we got skimped a little bit on the 2.0, so that's going to go to Spider-Man 1.0. Round six, we're talking about posability, and there's not too many positions that I can think of or come to mind that one can achieve over the other. If anything, I actually look at the Spider-Man 1.0 from this view here, and there's something about it that just seems a little bit more accurate to the source material, kind of to the Spider-Man I think of. But again, this will have to be a tie here. There's really both figures can hold their pose, standing, crouching. They both have really good balance. I think that's going to be a little bit more preference in just overall how they look. But that round's going to be a tie. Round seven, overall durability and feel. So I've had the Spider-Man 1.0 for about 5 years, whenever it did come out, and I've had the 2.0 for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, whenever that came out. They've both been displayed for a good amount of time and played with heavily as well. None of them have shown any kind of wear and tear. And even when it comes to action figures, if you have them displayed, if there's any sunlight hitting them, they tend to get a little bit of a sticky residue on the plastic. It's kind of unavoidable. But I'm happy to report that this Spider-Man the Spider-Man 1.0 has not shown any of that in 5 years. The 2.0, I don't think has been around enough to even start showing, but they both feel good in that sense. And so that round is also going to be a tie. And to our eighth and final round. So at this point, we're just looking at the price. Is it worth owning one? Is it worth owning two? Is it worth upgrading from one to two? And so back when these came out, I think the 1.0 was probably right around 60, 70, maybe $80. I think the 2.0 was $100. And the newer, to be released in August 2026, symbiote version is $123. But right now, these figures selling online, authentic, new, some even a little bit used, you're going to find the 1.0 for about $175 to $200, and the 2.0 for about $250 to $350. The 350 is definitely on the high end. There's a couple of sales there, but I think you could definitely find them if you're patient for the 250. Either way, both of them. And I don't know if we'll get another release of the 2.0. Maybe we get a 3.0 down the line. If you look at the new symbiote Spider-Man, he does have what looks like a pretty new body, but I think they're also going for something different there. So I'm not sure if they're going to re-release the 2.0 or make a 3.0. Additionally, they are re-releasing a lot of figures. A lot of the aftermarket prices for the Yamaguchis are going for crazy money. I've seen 400 or 500 for some of them, but what they're doing is re-releasing a lot of them. So I hope this video helps. As usual, do go ahead and follow me on door.59 on Instagram. I do a lot of toy photography there. And if you have any questions about these, let me know. I'm happy to get back to you and answer them. But do let me know in the comments. I'm curious who's buying the new symbiote Spider-Man, which version, the black or the purple, or none of the above. Or if you're a hater on Amazing Yamaguchi, give me a reason. I'd love to hear it. I get it. They're definitely a pretty unique kind of figure. But thanks, guys. Appreciate it.